Everybody, so we are back for another episode. We're back on the wagon this time. We're kind of going back and forth. Suburban wagon, suburban wagon, suburban wagon. It's pretty much going to be a wagon from here on until we get this thing wrapped up. So let's take a look at what we're doing today.
No, you're not bringing home another piece of junk.
All right, so I have said before, I'm not really interested in doing a bunch of body work on this car. It's going to stay rough like it is, and we'll Comet wash it and shine juice it or whatever, something to gloss it. But I'm going to have to do something with this because I have ripped 2 pairs of pants open on this thing, and I know what's going to happen is either I'm going to rip my leg open on it or somebody else is going to rip their leg open on it, and I'm going to feel terrible for leaving it there. So I just found a piece of sheet metal and bent it and put it in the roller a little bit to get a little shape on it. And I'm going to cut that out and tack this guy in there. I mean, I don't know if we're going to worry about doing a really nice full weld job in it. I probably will do pretty decent at it. But I mean, we got pinholes and stuff back here. I would really have to replace that whole rocker, but what happened is something hit it right there and knocked that up and split that. So I need to do something with that. So let me go ahead and cut that bad section out, mark this, and we'll just tack it in there, and we'll probably weld it all the way up here and grind it and maybe tack it underneath or something, but just want to make it to where it's not going to hurt anybody. So all right, let me get my cutoff wheel and we'll take a shot at this thing. Okay, so we will cut that off there, and it's not as terrible as I thought it was going to be. It was definitely some pinholes and spots, but I'll tell you what, a lot of acorns fell out of that hole, and I ran my shop vac hose all the way down here and just pulled out tons and tons and tons and tons of acorns, and we got them all. So I've got this. I'm going to take my sheet metal pliers and kind of bend that down, straighten it out. Looks like we got a little more dirt to get out of there. And then this guy should, it's this way. We'll just tack that on there and then do a little cut and butt and trim it, and that should look just fine. So let me bend that back there, and might be able to take a little bit off of that. No, I think it's just about right. Okay, let me bend that down, vacuum that out some more. I think we'll spray a little of that rust inhibitor in there, and then we'll clean all this up and we'll tack this guy on there. Okay, so not fantastic, but not bad for a quickie throw together patch. I said I've still got some pinholes up on that end and some pinholes back here. I'm not worrying about replacing that whole rocker right now. I just want this patch in there so you don't gouge your leg all up. So I got a little bit of an overlap here. What I'm going to do is just go along and take my cutting wheel, cut through both of those, and tack that along there. And I'll probably go ahead and go back and at least weld the outside here, here, and here solid and grind it down. The underside, I'm just going to tack it in several places where it won't come loose, because if you're really gonna restore this car and paint it, you really need to cut that whole rocker out. So this is just a quickie fix. So let me do that and we'll take a look at it. All right, I think that looks pretty good. So we'll just have to go along and tack it and get it smooth, grind it, shoot some primer on it. And that should fix that problem from anybody getting their leg gashed apart. So, all right, I think we're going to, what we're going to do now. I'm going to work on that a little bit later. I think we're going to go ahead and I've got my transmission cooling lines here. I need to go over and get some different fittings. They send you a bunch of fittings, and of course the aftermarket radiator is a different size than what they sent me. So I got to go get some fittings. So let's go ahead and get these cooling lines ran. Let's get my bottom radiator hose on. I've got that coupling. And let's get some coolant in this thing, and then we'll take a look. Okay, so there is my rocker repair, and you saw how we did it. We just kind of bent a piece of steel and shaped it a little bit with the roller and welded that all on there and ground it, and it actually looks pretty good. But like I said, you would have to replace this whole rocker because there's pinholes back here and there's pinholes up there. I just wanted it to where that jagged edge wasn't going to be there and ripping somebody's leg open. So anyway, what we're going to work on today is I want to get the transmission cooler lines run for this thing. And I'm trying to find something to join this hose to the smaller hose, and I ordered this thinking it was right, and it ain't right. It is too loose on that side. Now this side fits the smaller hose, so but we'll find something. So basically I got to join this hose to this hose, but we'll make that work. Okay, let me I got to run over and pick up a couple of fittings for the transmission line, transmission cooler line fittings coming out of the radiator. Let me run over and find those, and then we'll be back and we'll pipe this in and see what we got. Okay, so let's see where we got today. I got the cooling lines put in, and this is one of those kits I ordered off of Amazon. So you can see you got those braided stainless steel lines. Oop, and they are sitting on my steering link. So we're gonna have to tie that up. But they send you the fittings to go on there, the 6AN fittings. I'm glad I looked under here and saw that. And I got the 70-inch lines, which were really too long, but we went ahead and used them anyway. I got them tied up under there. And I had to go get some, this radiator had 1/8 inch NPT fittings coming out of the bottom of the radiator. So I had to transfer that to 1/4 inch and then put some elbows on it. But it came out pretty good. I like those stainless lines. That kit was only like 35 bucks. So that is done. We've got the lower radiator hose on. It's done. So cooling system is all sealed up. I can put coolant in this thing now. My buddy was over here today repainting the tailgate of my wife's car because we had a little fender bender. So I am not going to be able to work out here anymore today because I don't want to stir up any dust while that's drying. So we're going to let that finish up doing its thing and call it for today. And then we will pick this back up. We'll probably do some more on tomorrow night. Maybe we'll get some coolant in it, check for leaks, and get those training lines tied up. And tomorrow I'm going to drop the stuff for the drive shaft off at the drive shaft shop to get that made. So, all right, that's it for today. So happy New Year, everybody. Today is New Year's Day, and we will pick this up tomorrow. Morning, everybody. So we are at a very rare and magic spot in my garage, and that is there is nothing on this side of the garage, which doesn't happen very often. Usually there's two projects going in here. So my truck is sold, Suburban's outside. I had my wife's car in here doing a little collision repair on it. That's gone. So yeah, so we're going to make good use of this side for the next several weeks. So let's take a look at where we are with all this. Okay, usually what I do is when I get rid of a project is mass clean out. So I've got so much junk around here. I just save and save and save, and it's like, I'll use it someday, I'll use it someday. Well, I got a whole bunch of I'll use it someday that I'm not going to use any day, and it needs to go away. So I am going to make a nice big pile of scrap metal right there, go through all my cabinets, this whole mess of a corner back here. I got a loft up here. We're going to go through all that. If it's been here for several years and I haven't touched it, it is going away. And I want to get this spot nice and cleaned out before I bring another car in here. But for now, we are hitting the gas on the wagon. Exhaust kit came in. We got over here. Brand new drive shaft done. Whew, $500. That thing's expensive. These are going up. Getting these made. I told the guy at the drive shaft shop, it's like, my gosh, that's a lot of money for a basic drive shaft. He's like, well, my parts are going up, so my product is going up. So I'm not going to fault the guy. He's got to pay more for the supplies to build them. He's got to make his money. So mufflers, a couple other things, muffler hanger brackets. So this is that whole TEMU exhaust system. We're going to unbox this and see what it looks like. But for right now, we left off with transmission lines are done. So I'm going to put the back of this thing up on jack stands. We're going to get the whole car up, and so we can put drive shaft in, and we can start piecing together exhaust. So that's where we are. So let me get all that done, get this thing up in the air, and we'll start taking a look at some more stuff here. Okay, so drive shaft is on. They did a really nice job of building it. Clearance is good. I've got jack stands under the back axle, so it's loaded, so we're at right height. But yeah, that looks awesome, and I'm very happy with it. Now, as far as exhaust, here is what $208 gets you from TEMU. 16-piece, 2.5-inch mandrel bent exhaust kit, and 2.5-inch whatever brand turbo mufflers. So there is more than enough in here. It's pretty good thickness wall pipe. There's more than enough in there to build an exhaust. So and I also got clamps coming. They're not here yet, but we can kind of get this thing together. Man, I think that's a great price. You know, I hate buying, well, I say that, I hate buying overseas stuff. Everything's made overseas now, so that's just the way it is. All right, so I'm going to start kind of figuring this out, figure out where things are going to go. I think we've got plenty of room under there to hang this, and I've actually got 2.25-inch pipes coming off of the motor, but 2.25-inch kit costs more, and 2.25-inch mufflers cost more. I guess because 2.5 is a more common size, and they make more of them, so it's production costs are less. I don't know. So I just went ahead and went with 2.5, and we'll just upsize it at the coming off the exhaust pipe bend. So, all right, let me start piecing this together, and we'll kind of get one side mocked up and see what it looks like. I don't know why I like building these things so much. They're such a pain sometimes. So I was waiting for my welded pipe to cool down. I put coolant in this thing, and there you go. 2 drips off the thermostat housing, so drain it back out. Have to fix that. But exhaust wise, I've got this side on. Back to the muffler. I'm gonna get a clamp on that. I think I've got some extra clamps around here. Maybe get a hanger on that and start. I'm going to do tailpipe now, or if I'm going to go ahead and get the other side done and then do tailpipes. I might go ahead and get the other side done and then do the tailpipes. So, but yeah, it seems to fit good. I wasn't sure about the muffler. I got an offset. So that should work good. I'm got the inlet offset on the inside, and it's in a good spot on the drive shaft, and then it's coming right through the pipe is coming right through the little notch on the cross member, and then we flip the outlet to the other side, and then that lines up right about where the space is coming over the rear end for the tailpipe. So looking good, just lots of little aggravating things. So all right, back in a bit. All right, today's Sunday. This is solid ice crystals. And we are right smack dab in the middle of that killer winter storm warning for the Midwest. So, just like I might be stuck at home a couple of days with nothing to do but work in the garage. Oh, darn. But, started digging some things out yesterday. So I've got 2 crappy hoods. This one is probably the least crappiest. It's got a lot of surface rust on it, but nothing through except that little corner up there. So I think we're going to wire brush all this down and pour 15 this. And that corner up there, I think there's enough good metal to cut out of this one. I know parts of this hood look better, but it's really not. It's like destroyed in the front. So I'm just going to try to piece something together for now. Maybe if I come across a better hood somewhere down the line, we'll change it out. But this one seems to be the lesser of the 2 evils. So we'll go with that. I got my windshield gasket on the way, so I need to dig out my windshield chrome today. And when we stopped yesterday, we had one side of the exhaust on. So today, let's get the other side of the exhaust on, and then we will start looking at building some tailpipes for this thing. But I think I need to put the back bumper on before I do tailpipes, just to make sure that when I go out the back that I'm clearing that back bumper, because I don't know if I'm going to go all the way out the back or if I'm going to tuck them out like on the side of that quarter panel. We'll see what happens. That back bumper is rough, but so's the car, so it's going back on just like it is in all its glory. Okay, well, let me get working on this other side of this exhaust, and we'll see where we get. Also, I rolled the 454 out here out of its grave over there, so probably somewhere along the line we'll do another video on this on the Suburban, for the Suburban videos, and we're going to tear this thing down and see what happened to it. All right, we went ahead and got this leak fixed while I was welding pipe and letting it cool off. So I just put a little black silicone on that, and that's good to go. But we are good down here. Back to the axle on both sides. So I am out of clamps. And the clamps that came with the kit shipped separately, and they are not here yet. So, but I think I am going to go ahead and kind of get the tailpipes fabbed up, and I'll just have to do the final clamp on them when that gets here. But everything came out good. Everything came out pretty straight. Fit right in the cross member notch. So now we're gonna go around and look at a few things here. And when you got the car up like this is the time to look at this stuff. And I just try to look at things when I'm down here. It's like, okay, is there anything interfering with anything? So there, I know I need to tie these up because they are dragging on the steering like my transmission lines. But let's look up there. I don't know if you can see this wire right there, which is the starter wire, is laying pretty close to the exhaust. Now I zip tied it there, but I think I made it worse. So we're gonna have to cut that zip tie and fix that. So everything on this side looks good. On this side, I need to do a little trimming on my linkage because one of the screws that hold this mounting plate for the linkage on is actually interfering with the shifter arm. They're hitting each other, so I need to clearance that a little bit or bend that and get that out of the way. So like I said, when you got the car up, this is a good time. Just go through front to back, look at all that little stuff, make sure wires are out of the way, tubings are out of the way, you're not touching anything hot. You know, the little leak we found. So I want to get all that stuff wrapped up while I've got this up on the jack stands. And safety tip: when you're on jack stands, always use a jack as a backup. So several points of support if you're going to be under this thing. It would flatten you pretty good if this thing fell on you. So I got 4 jack stands. I got a floor jack back here. I rocked it real good. The thing's not going nowhere, so I feel relatively safe getting under it. So I'm going to grab some lunch. Then we're going to come back and I want to see if I can find some bolts to fit this bumper. The ones that were on there were so bad, I didn't even try to get them off. I just cut them off. So I want to get that bumper bolted on, and then we're going to have to do some tailpipe surgery and see where these things are going to go. All right, isn't that fabulous looking? That is a Class A bumper and tailgate. I love that beat to death look. So it's cool. It's like the Road Warrior. So I was looking over here at this hood, and I think I'm changing my mind, which I tend to do like a whole lot. The bottom side of this hood is just so much better up until you get right up into there, and you can see where that's all mangled and rusted out. So I think what I'm going to try to do is just cut this hood like right here across, and we'll have to fix this piece, and then maybe we can use the outside skin of this isn't rusted. Oh yeah, it's getting pinholed already. Let's see, here's this one. You can see it's all mangled here, and then it's rusted through there. So I don't know, maybe we just put a patch in there and then use some of this structural piece to fix that. Yeah, I think I'm gonna go that route instead of this. This is just too surface rusted and pitted, but there's some usable parts in there I need, so we'll make it work. Maybe we'll cut this all back here, and because this is the hood brace for the bolt on here. Cut along here, cut back from there, along there, separate it from the skin, and then wire brush the other side of it, put some stuff on it, some rust inhibitor, and patch this and use it. I think we'll do something like that, because yeah, this is much better, and it's the hood that was on it. All right, so let's take a look at where we are here now that we got the bumper on. Running into another small problem. Oops. All right. So, here's my muffler. And we're gonna put this guy on here. Get in there. Oh man, did I cut that? I'm gonna cut that a little too short. But there, and then we got this 180 piece that is gonna need to go up in there and hook to this. Now the problem is I need more length right in here because I got to get around this shock and I got to get around the rear end. Well, that is not going to work. Yeah, that ain't going to happen. So I think what I'm going to do is slice this in the middle. We'll take a measurement up here and kind of try to figure out how much I need to add to it. And we'll take let me finagle with this, and because I need to get through this area right here and then out the back. I don't want it banging up against anything, so let me do that, and then we'll come back and take a look once we modify. All right, so measuring around the rear end housing and the shock and give myself some fluff, I need 9 inches in between here. And I have, let's see, not counting that expanded part, I got about 5 1/8. So I need a little less than 4. What's this here? Oh, that's it right there. Okay. So we're just gonna slice this. I think I'll slice this with my chop saw. I'll have to dig it out so I get a nice clean straight cut, and then we're gonna put this guy in there. We'll just tack it in place, and then we will see how it fits before we do a full weld on it. So let me cut that, tack this, and we'll take another look. All right, so I decided the best way to do this was to build an offset like that, and let me show you what we got here. Oh. You'll see this. So we'll go like that. We'll angle down into the muffler, and plenty of room up over the rear end and the shock. And then we're going to come out, we'll shorten this piece up and come out the back by the spring. And I think I might just do some 45s right out here instead of going all the way out the back. I'm not sure yet. Let me get these on there and we'll see. But it's coming along pretty good. Let me get this welded up and get that other piece cut, and we'll take a look. All right, so this worked out pretty good. That is where I'm going to run my exhaust tip. I did not have enough straight pipe to run both of these all the way out the back, so I don't want to buy another piece of pipe. We'll just do it like this. Like I said, I am out of clamps, so I can't finish up tonight. But there's my tailpipe, and it worked out pretty good. It clears everything. I ran out of welding gas, so I had to switch over to gasless wire, so them welds ain't as pretty, but they'll stay together. I'm pretty confident they're not going anywhere. So I need to wait till I get my clamps in before I finish this up. But now I got a pretty good idea of what it's going to look like, and I think I can go ahead and start making the other side. I think it's going to be it for today. I've been out here pretty much most of the day. And I don't know if I want to make that other side tomorrow. Yeah, I think tomorrow we'll make the other side. And we're going to get these little things wrapped up in here I was talking about. I got to get the O2 sensors back in it. I got all that stuff to tie up, a few things to clearance. And then if we get done with all that tomorrow, we got some more time. I think I'm going to go ahead and start butchering on these hoods and get rid of the remnants of the one I'm not going to use. So, okay, so I'll tell you what, it's been sleeting all day. And it is supposed to snow tonight and most of the day tomorrow. So I'm curious of how much we're going to end up with when we're done. Right now, we probably got inch and a half, 2 inches, and that's all sleet and ice stuff. It's not snow. All right, we'll pick this back up tomorrow. Morning, everybody. Whew, bad hair morning. So we got a balmy 15 degrees here in St. Louis, and a little south of St. Louis where we live. So let's take a look at what we're going to work on today. First of all, we didn't get it too bad last night. We got maybe 5 inches. I mean, they were talking storm of the century. It wasn't quite that. I think we were just lucky enough to be in one of those pockets where we just didn't get a whole lot of snow. So I'm happy. But I want to try something. I don't know if this will even open or if it's froze shut. Okay. 15 degrees. Half worn out small block. No choke. Chinese carburetor. Will it start? I have my doubts. I don't think it's gonna do it. Oh, it is. I'll be darned. How about that? I expected a definite no on that one. Look at that, it's even idling with no choke. All right, good Suburban. Just curious, see if it would do it or not. I'll let you sit there. Let's go back in here. It's snowing my door. I can't get it closed. Darn it. Close enough. Okay, what are we going to do today? So I don't have the clamps for this thing. It says they're going to be delivered today, but we're going to have to see. So I think what I'm going to do is just get the welder and throw a few tack welds. Like tack a hanger on there and screw the hanger up. Tack weld the tailpipe on the end of the muffler. There's one other joint in there. Put a couple tacks on that just to hold this in place. So I can take the jack stand out from underneath it, and then we'll work on the other side. And maybe by this evening, when all that's done, we'll get the clamps will be here and we can throw them on. So we'll do that. And like I said, I got some stuff under there to just kind of neaten up. I got to get the O2 sensors back in. We'll do all that. We'll take a look at that in a little bit. And I'm hoping for the end of the day. I think what I'm just going to do is go right there, cut the front off this hood, throw the rest of it away, and then use what I can out of that support to patch up that other one. That'll be another video. Okay, we got the heat going. Let's get to work. All right, I went ahead and updated the old price board too. So we bought quite a few things, exhaust kit, and a lot of little things in the last couple of weeks. So I'm adding another $400 on there. And we were at $83.95, so we are officially over the first estimate I thought of $8,000 to get this thing running and driving it on the road. So the viewers, I think Don had said he thought about 10 grand, so I'm kind of thinking that's probably about where we're going to be. What do we got left? So I got a little bit of, I got one piece of rear glass to buy and gaskets for both sides. I've got carpet to buy. I've got the stuff to reupholster the seat to buy. Probably the chip and the programming for the computer. And what else? Yeah, I mean, I got to make door panels. I got the stuff to make the door panels. I have the vinyl, but I'll get that with the seat. So yeah, I think we're going to be 10, maybe even a little over 10. So take it for what it is, you know. It is a budget project. I mean, if we were to do all the body work on this thing and fix all the rust and paint this thing, you know, we would be at a huge amount of money. We'd probably be more than double what I'm gonna have in it. And could you sell this thing for $20,000 if it was restored? I doubt it. Maybe, you know, with a high mileage used engine that's got some spray paint and stuff on it. Probably not. So, but hey, this is the real cost of doing something like this. You could probably gone a little cheaper, maybe found a decent used 302 and C4 and dropped it in there and not done any of the, you know, the fuel system and what I did. But I mean, we just had some big ticket items, you know, fuel tank, and even if you got to use motor and transmission, I paid $700 for that parts car, and that's my motor, transmission, computer, wiring harness. I mean, most of what you see. So you wouldn't do that much better by going not fuel injected, in my opinion. But anyway, I don't want to ramble on here. Let me see if we can get the other side of the exhaust together, and we'll take a look, and maybe we'll fire this thing up and see what it sounds like with that exhaust on there. All right, exhaust is all done except for putting some final clamps on it. But got my tailpipes looking pretty even in the right spots. We'll take a look under here. Everything is pretty symmetrical and nothing, you know, everything looks like it's level with one side or the other. Got all my hangers in the same place. Now I just put a couple tack welds on the hangers for right now. As soon as I get some clamps, we'll throw some clamps on those, but pretty happy with it. So what do I got left from a $200 TEMU kit? That's it. That is all that I did not use other than some pipe scraps. So I was able to go from the stubs off the manifold all the way back. So the piping kit was $118 for a 2.5 inch kit, and the mufflers were $28 a piece. Just some off-brand turbo muffler. And then hangers and clamps. So let's see if this thing will fire up. I want to hear what it sounds like. Oh yeah. Oh, that sounds good. You got a pretty good vacuum there. Yeah. And And then I don't have my map sensor or any of that stuff hooked up yet. So we got to do that. Here's the map sensor off the old filter box. So I'm going to just run an elbow here, run one of them cone filters here, and we'll kind of put that in the middle. I'll cut that flange off there. And then this is the, maybe we'll figure out how to mount this to the filter. This is a little temperature sensor that goes in there, in the air box. But, and then this is your map sensor plug. But yeah, I think that, man, that sounds good. I wonder if I can rev it a little bit. Kind of hear it. Okay, I like it. Not too brutal loud, but just enough to sound kind of healthy. All right, well, I guess that is going to be it for this video. That is the exhaust video I wanted to do. I got all the stuff done underneath I was talking about, everything tied back and my shifter linkage squared away and all that. I'll probably work on a few other little things off camera, and then we'll pick this up on another one. I'm not sure what we're going to do next time. Maybe next time we'll either put the hood in or, you know, get the hood fixed up and put it on, or get the glass in, or maybe both of those. And then I got AC condenser coming, so actually I need to put that on before I put the hood on. Even if the AC is not hooked up, I just need to have it here because the hood tilts forward on this car. So once you got the hood on there, there is like no access to right here. All right, we'll get a word from the Lord and we will call it at that. Hey everybody, thanks for coming along on today's video. Hope you enjoyed that. So, man, that's a good deal on that exhaust, I think. You know, a couple $100 for a piping kit and a couple of mufflers and all the stuff for it. And it sounds good, you know. It's I hate to advocate for buying stuff from buying stuff from a foreign country, but you know, we pinch pennies where we can when we're building these things. So we'll let you make of that what you will, but not a bad deal, I don't think. So anyway, I was for the new year, one of my resolutions that I hope to stick to is to do a read through the Bible in a year daily devotional. So I've always done some kind of daily devotional for a long time, whether it just be just random Bible readings and prayer in the morning, or you know, some short Bible studies. You know, I just if you've been on this channel for a while, you know I encourage everybody to make sure you give time and spend time with the Lord to help grow your relationship with Him daily. So, but I thought this year let's do the read through the Bible in a year thing, because it's a little more intense than what I've been doing. Maybe intense, not the right word, but I would usually read 1 or 2 chapters in the morning, and then have a few minutes prayer. You know, the whole thing taking 15 minutes or so. But if you're doing through the Bible in a year, you're reading about 5 chapters a day, and it can take a little bit longer. So, but that's cool. You know, Lord can have as much as my time as He desires, with all the blessings He gives me. So this is not a chronological reading. So the program I'm following actually put me in the book of Job the last several days, and you know, I've read the book of Job many times. I'm sure many of you have, but so we're on like chapter 13 now, and just to kind of scan through, you know, Satan goes to God, and we know that God says, "What do you think of my servant Job? My servant Job, he's a righteous man, very upright man." And you know, initially Satan says, "Oh, you know, sure, he has all these material things. You take all that away, and he'll curse you." And we see that God allows Satan to do that to him, and Job doesn't curse the Lord. And so Satan comes back again, and God says, well, now what do you think of my servant Job? And he says, skin for skin. He has his health. Since he has his health, he's not going to curse you. And so the Lord allows Satan to affect his health, to spare his life. But we find Job sitting in a pile of ashes with boils all over his body, scraping his boils with a pottery shard. Pretty gruesome picture. Not to mention that not only has he lost all his possessions, he's lost his family. So as we get into the later chapters, and chapter 3, Job starts making a speech to his friends, and he's really starting to kind of moan and groan about what's going on with him. Rightfully so. He's got some tough stuff going on. And then in chapter 4, we see one of his friends, Eliphaz, says, well, we believe the innocent do not suffer. So if it's not your sin, maybe it's the sin of one of your children. And in the next chapter, Eliphaz is calling Job foolish and encouraging him to appeal to God, and encouraging him not to despise God's discipline. The next chapter 6, we're back, Job expressing his deep anguish of what's going on with him and seeking his friend's sympathy. And in the next chapter 7, he's questioning God's trials. Why is this stuff happening to him? And chapter 8 is another one of his friends, Bildad, starts making a speech to him. And another of his friends, Zophar, is making a speech to Job. And all along, Job is arguing his own case and questioning his oppression. And in chapter 12, Job says, only God knows why this is happening to me. And chapter 13, where I stopped this morning, Job is praying to God, asking God to speak to him and answer him, that he wants to know why this is happening to him. And at this particular point, God doesn't answer him. God is silent. And so that's where we are in the chapter. And I think of how many times we go through this in our own life, or we have watched people go through this, where there's just, even good believers, you see that there's a lot of suffering going on in their life. There's a lot of trials going on in their life. I'm sure many people know good Christian people who have lost a spouse, or lost a child, or had some other horrific death in the family, or maybe lost a job and lost all of their possessions, or had a health crisis and dealt with cancer, and maybe there's someone that you prayed for that God would heal from cancer, and God said no, and then they passed away from that cancer. It can be it can be tough, for sure. But we know that the suffering that we endure in this life is nothing compared to the suffering that God put on his own son for our salvation. I mean, Christ was beaten and whipped and flogged and spit on and cursed, and a crown of thorns pounded into his head, and dragged that heavy cross all the way up that hill after his flesh had been torn from his body, and then suffered one of the most depraving and painful deaths there were, all because he loved us and wanted to give us a chance at salvation. And I think it's good to remember, when we're going through suffering, the suffering, he's not asking us to go through anything that he didn't go through, even worse, on our account, to give us the chance at salvation. So it is so important as Christians, when we have friends and relatives and whoever that's going through this kind of stuff, that we come alongside them in prayer, and that we're there with them, and they know they're not alone, even on those times that the answer from God is going to be no. I'm not going to heal that person, or I'm not going to heal that disease, or whatever else tragedy is going on in their life. The answer for right now is no. It's you have to live with that suffering, and that may seem unfair, but like I said, we just need to think of what Christ gave up for us. Okay, I know that's hopefully that's not too garbled of a message, but like I said, I'm not all the way through Job yet, so I'm just kind of relaying where I'm at and where we've been through these last few days. So good food for thought. I hope you like that, and I hope you pick up Job and read that, and I hope you are doing some kind of daily Bible study and devotional and spending that time with the Lord. So let's have a quick word of prayer and we'll be done. Father, I just thank you for today. Thank you for all of everybody who's watching this video, and we know that sometimes we go through some really tough, devastating things, and we know that sometimes when we pray that we don't get the answer that we want or the answer that we think we should have. But just help us to remember that despite that you have a plan, and you do know how it's all going to end up, and what is best for us in the grand scheme of things, and that help us to use those times of trial to draw closer to you, and to rely on you even more. And just help us to be obedient to you in all things, and to be prepared as Christians to come alongside our fellow man when they're going through those trials, and they need to see that that you are there, that we will be your representative, and you will use us to advocate for you. And we ask this in the precious name of your Son Jesus. Amen. All right, hit like, hit subscribe, leave a comment, and we will catch you on the next one.